Hi, I'm Melissa Cobb. Come fly with AOPA. This week, the inspirational story of a young woman making her aviation dreams come true, the latest on the future of air transportation at the UP.Summit, and a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to be a skydive pilot.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
I think a lot of us could use an inspirational story this week. Meet Mia Anderson. She's a pilot and an AOPA Foundation scholarship winner. She is chasing after her aviation dreams and sharing the love of flying with others along the way.
Ever since I was little, I really loved airplanes. I would steal my brother's pilot uniforms and just wear them for fun and act like I was the captain. When I was 13, I got my very first flight lesson in a small airplane, and I just fell in love with it. And from that moment on, I knew that flying is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was about halfway through my flight training when I applied for the scholarship. And I was about a month away from taking my check ride when I was informed that I received the scholarship.
Okay, open. I got the scholarship. Ah!
What?
And I've got the AOPA shirt on! Oh my god!
So this scholarship has helped me get ready to do my tailwheel endorsement and some other add-ons that I really enjoy, and just a lot of fun flying. I think all of my work in the community has really helped me achieve this scholarship. I've been super involved with Women in Aviation, Girls in Aviation Day, the 99s, and just a lot of encouraging youth. I actually was able to start my very own nonprofit called Aviation in October of last year, and I was so proud of this, and I'm now using it to inspire, educate, and mentor the next generation of aviators. And I think that may have kind of stuck out as something important to the people choosing the scholarship, because I know that in the aviation community, a lot of people want to continue making it a great community, and I've been trying so hard to get youth involved. I think my favorite aircraft to fly is the MD-M1 Fox. It is an aerobatic glider, and I was able to go to Arizona and take some aerobatic flight lessons at Estrella. I fell in love with that glider from the second I saw it. It was just so gorgeous and so pretty, and as soon as I was in the air flying it, it was magical. When I'm flying, I feel free. It's the best feeling in the world, and I truly wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's something that I'm just so passionate about, and I've been passionate about. I would always want the window seat when I was younger so I could watch the wing help lift the aircraft off the ground. And from that first flight that I took when I was 13, I just knew that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I knew that feeling I wasn't going to get from anything else.
Mia received $10,000 to help fund her flight training through the AOPA Foundation, thanks to many generous donors. We'll drop a link to our scholarship program in the description below so you can learn more about it, whether you're interested in applying for scholarships or donating. In advocacy news, the FAA is giving the public 3 more months to comment on the modernization of special airworthiness certification. Several aviation groups had requested the extension. This represents the first major overhaul in decades of the airworthiness certification. So what this proposal would do is it would increase light sport clean stall speeds to 54 knots. It would do away with an aircraft weight limit completely. It would raise the maximum speed to 250 knots calibrated airspeed. Allow aircraft with retractable landing gear and controllable pitch propellers to be considered as light sport aircraft. And finally, it would also expand sport pilot privileges. Now, AOPA believes that the clean stall speed of 54 knots is too low. It would allow for aircraft like a Cessna 182 to be considered a light sport aircraft, but not a Piper Cherokee 140. And AOPA is going to be advocating for that clean stall speed to increase so that all logical four-seat aircraft can be included. Now, we did learn that with this 3-month extension to the comment period, it isn't going to actually push back the implementation date of Mosaic. That is still going to be set for the end of 2024. Now, as a follow-up on an airport issue out west, the county managing the Aspen-Pitkin County Airport in Colorado has approved a 1-year lease extension to the sole FBO, that's Atlantic Aviation. And during this next year, they're going to be negotiating a longer-term lease. Well, AOPA is weighing in and pushing back because AOPA is very concerned with what it's learning so far about what is going to be in this new long-term lease, and is afraid that really egregious fees are going to be passed on to transient pilots and base pilots. And of course, pilots are already facing lots of fees all across the country. So AOPA is going to be staying on top of that. You can read more details on our website. We'll drop a link to that article in the description below. The FAA is proposing an airworthiness directive that could affect more than 30,000 older Piper aircraft, and that's Pipers ranging from the J3, the J4, the J5, all the way up to the PA-22. The AD would require replacing any rudder equipped with a rudder post made from a certain carbon steel with a rudder equipped with a rudder post made from a certain low alloy steel. Well, this comes after 2 non-fatal accidents in Alaska. We'll drop a link to that proposed AD in the description below so you can read all the details and see exactly what aircraft are affected. Well, last week, a bunch of visionaries met up in Texas for the UP.Summit. That's a conference about the future of mobility. Now, we've talked to you before about the opener Blackfly. The company is now named Pivotal, and the president, Ken Kirkland, took time out to talk to us about the company, what's going on, and announce a new model.
And this is the Blackfly, our Generation 3 pre-production aircraft. And I'm going to walk you through some of the facts about it. You'll see it has 8 motors. It can actually fly on any 6 non-contiguous motors. If you were to lose a motor in flight, the polar opposite motor is actually going to shut down, let you fly on 6. It's the most balanced way to do it. Energy storage. Battery packs are distributed throughout the wings. 2 per motor pod. If you were to lose one, you still have half the energy storage left in the other one. You'll also see on the front, they're most prominent, these are outrigger wing floats. And if you notice the distinctive shape of the fuselage, some people say, well, it looks like a boat. Well, it actually is an amphibious ultralight. We have 4 outrigger wing floats, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front most prominent, and an amphibious fuselage. Something also that figures very prominently here on the front of the aircraft is the full aircraft parachute. It's the one subsystem that is not controlled by the triple redundant flight computers. And if an operator to be in a bad situation, you pull one big red knob and a parachute will deploy, bring the aircraft back down to Earth slowly and safely. If you look underneath the wings, and you'll see this on all 4 wings, see these little black pods. Those are actually for our radars, which measure our height above ground to inform the autonomous precision landing function, or auto-land we call it. And we need a valid result from 3 out of 4 of those to have a good landing. You'll see this is our antenna for communications. You'll see we have 3 pitot tubes and GPS antennas here. Why 3? Because each flight computer has its own pitot tube measuring air data and its own GPS receiver, and they're each operating from their own set of truths as to what the aircraft's current state is. Now, if we want to look inside, you'll see 2 joysticks, and those joysticks are absolutely identical. You only need one to fly the aircraft through every state. We have 2 of them for, number 1, operator preference if you're left-handed or right-handed. and for redundancy. So of course, if one joystick were to fail, you can select the other one, squeeze trigger, it becomes the active joystick, and now you're flying with it. Implied there, part of our training is learning how to fly with your non-dominant hand. And that's some of the highlights of the Blackfly. We just announced the Helix, which is its production successor. Has a very similar outer mold line, but made from all new composite materials. The electronics have been substantially updated, and it's ready for production with enough weight budget for operators to pick things like beacon lights, ADS-B, aviation radios. And it's also not black. It's going to come with a beautiful livery, minimally painted white, with some other options available as well. We can't wait to get it to market on the 10th of June, 2024.
Ken said the aircraft could fly for about 20 minutes. Now, it's meant to be really easy and fun to fly. It actually falls under the Part 103 ultralight rules, so you don't need a pilot certificate to fly it. Now, the production aircraft is estimated to cost about $190,000. Finally this week, let's tag along with AOPA senior photographer David Toulis as he learns the ins and outs of how to become a skydive pilot.
Jumpers away is called on the CTAF, and that's normally the cue for 4 skydivers to exit the right door. We're on a training flight with Ed Scott, a parachutist and a commercial pilot who founded Jumpers Away, a flight school created specifically to teach safe jump pilot techniques.
The candidate flies 20 hours as PIC in the actual jump plane. Over the 4 days, we do a whole series of simulated jump runs up to 12,000 feet. So we do a lot of simulations, and then I start throwing in abnormal and emergency procedures as well, so that at the end of the 4th day, they're good to go at any drop zone that wants to hire a 182 pilot.
There's a lot of demand for jump pilots. Some choose it for a profession or to build hours. I'm here to get a quick look at what it's like to go through the course. Ed starts by teaching some parachute basics.
What you want to do is pull and punch in a downward
That way,
position.
towards the ground.
Yeah.
Ed explains why these modified Cessna 182s are ideal for skydivers.
It's got enough power to carry a pilot, and for skydivers, high enough for their liking, 11, 12, sometimes 13,000 feet. And the configuration of the airplane is just perfect. Once you modify the right cabin door so that instead of being hinged on the side and opening to the side, you hinge it on the top and open it vertically against the wing, then you add a jump step to the airplane, allows skydivers to easily get out and present themselves to the air and then leave the airplane in a stable position. So it's always been a great jump plane, and it continues today. It's still the most populous jump plane in the U.S.
Next, we prep for our training flight, scheduled for early the next day when the air is smooth.
You are good to go.
We start our morning with a gear check, pre-flight the airplane, and take off over the beautiful coast of Cape Fear, North Carolina. The goal of a jump mission is to get the skydivers up to altitude as quickly as possible and then rapidly descend to pick up the next load. Ed talks me through a climb pattern using visual references to stay above the airport as we climb to 12,000 feet.
All right, and we're at 12,000 feet. We're at 12,000. That's your 80. There you go. Doors open. Doors open. All right, wings level. Wings level. Maintain 80. And jumpers are climbing out. And they're climbing out. And then jumpers away, so go ahead and put in full left rudder. Full left rudder. Be ready to reach over and shut that door. Grab the door, close it. There you go. Lock. Door is locked. Okay. Now you get the full throttle. Full throttle. Go to 17 inches. It's down to 120 miles an hour.
From there, it's a quick spiraling descent back down to the runway. Felt like I learned a lot today and have way more respect for jump pilots. It's also kind of cool when you think about it. You're helping people enjoy themselves and have a good time doing something they want to do, and we are still getting to fly. Hopefully we'll do it again.
Thanks for that behind the scenes look, David. Hey, can you tell us what was the most difficult part of your training?
You know, Alyssa, the training wasn't that difficult. What was unusual about a Cessna 182 setup or jump school training is the different parts of that Cessna 182. For instance, there's that platform that's over the right wheel. The door, it opens vertically instead of horizontally, and that's to allow the jumpers to exit. And for me, the other interesting thing was you have to maintain precisely 80 knots, and then you reach over and unlatch the door, and the door flops up, the slipstream holds it up, and jumpers away, jumpers away, jumpers away, and then it's like a hard left rudder, and then the door flops down, and you do this rapid descent, keeping an eye on engine management and airspeed, 120 to 140 knots on descent, keeping the manifold pressure up a little bit, around 2,200 RPMs, and really monitoring the cylinder head temperatures.
But Dave, it sounds like a lot happens really quickly there after the last jumper is out. So is there anything that you took away from your training that would benefit all of us as pilots?
Yes, Alyssa, a couple of things. Number one, be aware of jump zones. They're typically over airports, and look at them on a chart, on ForeFlight, on Garmin Pilot, know where they are. Be alert to the common traffic advisory frequency when you hear the term jumpers away, because they're hard to see in the air as they're coming down. So avoid the area, be aware of what's going on. That's, I think, really critical information. The other thing that was interesting, Ed Scott offers a bailout course for folks who are flying aerobatic airplanes, things like that. And he teaches you the very important parts of how to actually operate an emergency parachute for pilots, including releasing the D-rings correctly by pulling down to release the chute. A lot of people will try to pull across their chest. That's a no-no. Pull straight down, you get more force. You're able to get better leverage. And then when you hit the ground, it's like we were told, young kids in a fire, stop, drop, and roll.
David, thanks. That's a lot of great advice there for us to keep in mind. So now you've seen what the pilot side of the operation is like. Did that make you want to, change side and see what it's like to be the jumper?
When I returned from that assignment, the first thing people were asking me was, did you do it? Did you jump? And I didn't jump that time, but I'll repeat something that James Bond said in Never Say Never, which is never say never.
Okay, well, I'd say you've got more guts than me then. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this week's show. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our latest videos. And this week, we leave you with some footage from the fireworks show and drone show at the UP.Summit. Be sure to send in your favorite flying videos. We'll drop a link in the description below. And if you're not already an AOPA pilot, we'd love for you to join us. Just click on the link at the end of this video to learn more about our trial membership. We'll see you next week.